A 16-year-old is now in custody facing murder charges, according to Galveston police, who say she allegedly shot and killed her mother, 34-year-old Tiamoya Moore. One family member told me she's not only heartbroken, but confused.
The last couple of days, I've been feeling like I'm losing my mind. I was questioning, like, why? Why would you do this to your own mama? I just can't believe she's gone, for real.
When you got the news,
I was devastated. Devastated. Didn't want to believe it. Tia will give you the shirt literally off of her back. Tia loved her kids, would do anything for her kids. She was very spiritual, very into God, changed her life around for God. I just want to know what really, like, what caused for that to get to this point, to where you had to take your own mama's life.
On a quiet Thursday evening in Galveston, Texas, the sound of gunshots shattered the peace of Avenue Q. But this wasn't a random act of violence or a home invasion gone wrong. This was something far more devastating. A story that would leave an entire community asking one haunting question: what could drive a child to kill their own mother? September 11th, the date would forever be etched in the memory of those who knew Tiamoya Moore. Just after 8 p.m., emergency dispatchers in Galveston received frantic calls reporting gunshots in the 5100 block of Avenue Q. When officers arrived at the scene, they found something no first responder ever wants to see. 34-year-old Tiamoya Moore was lying on her porch, shot multiple times. The mother of several children was barely clinging to life. Neighbors were terrified. Grisela Molina, who lived directly across the street, described the horror she witnessed that night. She was screaming, and I hear boom, 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 boom. It was scary. I just ran. Molina hid inside her home, too frightened to look outside until police arrived. Paramedics rushed Tiamoya to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. Despite their best efforts, she was pronounced dead from her injuries. A mother's life had been cut short, but the most shocking detail was yet to come. Police began searching for the shooter. Initial reports suggested the suspect had fled on foot. After the attack, officers canvassed the neighborhood, going door to door, asking residents if they had seen anything suspicious. But they didn't have to look far. As crime scene investigators processed the Avenue Q residence, something incredible happened. The suspect simply walked back to the scene. No dramatic chase, no standoff. The 16-year-old girl who had allegedly shot her own mother multiple times just returned to where it all happened. She was arrested without incident. No resistance, no explanation. Just a teenager who had apparently taken her mother's life and then came back to watch police investigate her crime. But who was Tiamoya Moore, and what could have led to this unthinkable tragedy? Those who knew Tiamoya described her as a woman who had been fighting to rebuild her life. She wasn't perfect, but she was trying. Her childhood friend, Alicia Giesinger, painted a picture of someone who genuinely cared about others. Tia would give you the shirt off of her back. Tia loved her kids. She would do anything for her kids. The most telling details came from Tiamoya's own social media posts. In recent months, she had been documenting her journey towards sobriety. These weren't just empty promises or social media performances. These were the raw, honest posts of someone genuinely trying to change her life. In December, she had written, "I'm happy for me." 4 simple words that now carry devastating weight. Here was a woman who had found reasons to be hopeful about her future. She was getting clean. She was rebuilding relationships with her children. She had become deeply spiritual, turning to God for strength and guidance. But somewhere between hope and healing, something went terribly wrong. The details of what happened inside that house on Avenue Q remain largely unknown. Police haven't released information about what might have triggered the shooting. They haven't discussed whether there was an argument, a confrontation, or if this was something that had been building for weeks or months. What we do know is that the suspect is Tiamoya's own daughter, 16 years old, still legally a child herself, now sitting in a juvenile justice center, charged with murder. The girl's name hasn't been released publicly because of her age, but her actions have left everyone who knew the family searching for answers. How does a teenager go from being loved and cared for by a mother who would do anything for her kids to allegedly shooting that same mother multiple times? Galveston is not a small town, but news travels fast when something this shocking happens. The community has rallied around Tiamoya's memory, setting up a GoFundMe to help with funeral expenses. But money can't answer the questions that haunt everyone who knew this family. Alicia Diesinger spoke for many when she said, "I just want to know what really happened. Like, what caused for that to get to this point, to where you had to take your own mama's life?"
A couple of days I've been feeling like I'm losing my mind. I was questioning, like, why? Why would you do this to your own mama? I just can't believe she's gone, for real.
When you got the news,
I was devastated. Devastated. Didn't want to believe it. Tia will give you the shirt literally off of her back. Tia loved her kids, would do anything for her kids. She was very spiritual, very into God, changed her life around for God. I just want to know what really, like, what caused for that to get to this point to where you had to take your own mama's life.
The investigation continues.
Suspect, it was reported at the time by witnesses that the suspect had fled the scene. While the location in the 5100 block of Avenue Q was an ongoing crime scene, at some point while investigators were there and performing their investigative duties, the suspect came back up on location and she was taken into custody at that time.
Alicia tells me the family is processing this loss, including Tiamoya's other 4 children who are now without a big sister and a mom.
If a child is troubled, then a child is troubled. You can only help them so much. I was so mad at first, but as I got to talking to people and actually just thinking about what might have really happened, or mental health is real. It's gonna take me a lifetime to get over this.
Galveston police say the 16-year-old is in custody without bond. Reporting in Galveston, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 26 News.
But some answers may never come. What happens in the final moments before a child decides to kill their parent? What kind of pain, anger, or desperation drives someone to that point? And how do you move forward when the person who is supposed to protect and love you is gone, and the person responsible is someone you raised and cared for? This case raises uncomfortable questions about family dynamics, mental health, and the hidden struggles that can exist behind closed doors. Tiamoya Moore was working to rebuild her life. She had been sober for months. She was reconnecting with her faith in her children. From the outside, it looked like she was finally turning things around. But recovery is complicated. Relationships with children can be damaged by years of addiction and neglect, even when a parent is genuinely trying to change. The process of rebuilding trust and repairing bonds is often harder than getting sober itself. We may never know if this tragedy was the result of years of built-up resentment, a mental health crisis, or something else entirely. What we do know is that 2 lives were destroyed on that September evening in Galveston. Tiamoya Moore, a mother who was fighting to be better, is dead. Her 16-year-old daughter, who should have been worrying about school and friends, is now facing murder charges. The other children in the family have lost both their mother and their sister in one devastating moment. As the legal process moves forward, the teenager will likely face trial in juvenile court. The details of what exactly happened that night may finally come to light during court proceedings. But even then, the question of why may never be fully answered. This case serves as a tragic reminder that families can harbor secrets and pain that outsiders never see. It shows how quickly everything can change how hope can be shattered in just a few terrible moments. Tonight, a mother's voice has been silenced forever. A teenager's future hangs in the balance, and a community is left wondering how something so unthinkable could happen in their neighborhood. The investigation into Tiamoya Moore's death continues, but the questions it raises about family, forgiveness, and the limits of redemption may haunt ever about what we see and what others talk about. In Galveston, the streetlights still shine on Avenue Q, but the house where this tragedy occurred will forever be marked by the events of September 11th, a day when Amoya's journey toward healing came to a violent and senseless end.